YouTube, if you're watching this VOD after the fact, then this is the first thing you're going to see or hear, and it's only going to go downhill. So buckle up for another Q&A live stream while I pull up the questions right here. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for everyone who's coming over from Spencer's stream. He just got done streaming, and he had a pretty good stream there. And I've just been notified that I have gone live. So thank you, YouTube, for once again notifying me of my own stream. All right, let me find not as many questions this time, but we'll get in the chat here in a minute and see any live questions we have. But I want to make sure that I get the questions that were already asked.
You're so delayed.
Pull up the stream here, see who's already in here. All right, I see Rob has just become an admiral, so thank you very much, Rob. Or is that a super chat? I can't tell. It says you remember for 2 months. Oh shit, engineers lead the way. Yeah, that's right, exactly. Engineers lead the way, all the way. Definitely the best. I don't know why people keep denying it. At some point, everyone's going to be an engineer once they catch on. But you know, we can only we can only wait so long, you know, for people to figure it out. It's definitely the best. What's up, Hoodwinked? I see your message there. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. We got 13 people watching right now. Hopefully everyone's having a good evening wherever you are. Unfortunately, there was some bad news today up in Buffalo, but hopefully that's not dampening anyone's moods too much, or no one had anyone that they knew up there. If third is leading, then you are leading, Rob. Not sure what that means exactly. I mean, I'm definitely not beating Rob on the charts, that's for sure. All right, let's find some questions here. All right, first question comes from Simon D. I recently got a Fleet Star Cruiser for a theme build, pumped it up to tier 6X with orange phaser beams only, and I love it. Are you still flying tier 5 ships? Which ones and why? And he's not able to attend because it'll be 3 a.m. for him, so I wanted to do this one a little bit early so that he'll be able to not have to watch the video for too long to find it in here. I tend to only fly... Well, most of the ships I fly are for videos, and since I don't normally have a reason to fly tier 5 ships for videos because they're all really old at this point, I don't fly a lot of tier 5s these days, but there are definitely tier 5s I still like. For example, I don't have the tier 6 Jem'Hadar Strikewing Escort, but I do have the tier 5 version from the big Gamma Vanguard pack. And I do have one character that's using that as his ship. And then a couple other ones, the OG Star Cruiser. I mean, we have so many other versions of the Star Cruiser. We're going to see a question about that later. But that's still a nice one. I still like the design for that one the best, actually. What other tier 5 ships do I like? The Narcine. There is a tier 6 version, the Boisterous. But I don't have that one, but I do have the Narcine. Still a perfectly good ship. It's kind of a neat ship. So I do like that one. Occasionally I'll pull that one out. What's another one that I like to fly? When I did the Legacy of the Lockbox video, that first one, it was the Cardassian Galer that I was also in the big Gamma Vanguard pack, and I pulled that one out because that was the first ever lockbox ship, and so I was kind of going through the history of that first lockbox, and that's a pretty good ship. You know, obviously none of those are going to have specialization seats, but I think it holds up pretty well. There's a lot of tier 5 ships that hold up pretty well. So the short answer is I don't fly them too much because I normally don't have a reason to put them in videos, but there are tier 5 ships I still like and I still would fly including the not the Bastion, the Bulwark, because we don't have a Tier 6 version of that, but I do like the Bulwark. And I do fly that one because it's the one I have, because there's only a Tier 5. Next question is from Deander. What would you say if a Terran Avenger variant would be added, and what could it be? My thoughts are that it could be a destroyer. I think that, so I'm guessing that would more or less mean a Terran version of like the Arbiter or, the Inquiry or the Avenger. The Avenger is the Tier 5 version. Just so any of the ships of that line, I guess. I think it should be a destroyer or a warship class type with that mastery package. I think it'd be pretty good. Yeah, it's definitely one of the ships. It's not a hero ship or anything like the Defiant or any of that, but yeah, I think that would be pretty neat. What specialization should it have? It doesn't really strike me as a command type ship. The regular universe version is an Intel ship, so I don't know if the Terran version would be different. Terrans don't really strike me as being all that big into Intel, to be honest. I guess maybe they're not really strike me as good engineers either. They're all just kind of incompetent, so maybe Miracle Worker's not that great either. I don't know. Temporal, maybe? Just the nature of the mirror universe. That would be really weird to have like a destroyer that was... There are destroyers that have temporal seating. I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, maybe like a temporal destroyer would be kind of weird. Maybe just leave it with Intel, because that's what the regular version is. I'm just kind of sitting here in this... I think this is the Legendary Miranda. Yeah, I'm in this because I just thought it would be a nice ship to use for the vanity shields, because I did that dilithium vanity shield video, and initially I tried it on the Odyssey and it looked fine when I did the screenshots, but then I redid it with this ship, and I just thought it highlighted the shields a little bit better. There's obviously some of those shields look really different on different ships, but I know there's not really much going on the screen here other than just me talking, so just come back to the questions here. More just hanging out here. I might go out and do something in the game here in a bit. I want to get through these submitted questions first. From Rajanmeister, don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Do you think if more channels that cover Star Trek Online exercised a bit more criticism instead to chase views only focusing on fluffy stuff like meta builds, aka pay-to-win builds, would help to push the game in the right direction? I think a decade of nobody pointing consistently the problems of the game in the media, especially here on YouTube, helped to let this game get off the rails almost completely. I do think there is there's a lot more here, but I think that's the... I don't want to read all of this on the live stream. We won't get to other questions. But I think that's the gist of the question there. And I kind of answered it already on YouTube, but I would say that I don't know that it would make a difference, right? In that video I did the other day where I played that Asmongold clip, I don't think any amount of criticism is really going to change their behavior, because they're not basing their decisions on that. It's just whether, they've decided they want to chase whales, and as long as the whales are still spending, they're going to keep doing it regardless of how much criticism there is. But we have seen cases where the criticism did work with other games, like Starfront or Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a big example, because it was very publicized. I can't think of the right word. It was very public. I heard about it, and I didn't even play the game. So it was really out there, and I think when, if it's a major company like an Activision Blizzard or something, or a big studio like that, and it's getting into the regular news and stuff, that amount of pressure probably could change things. I think Star Trek Online is too old, too obscure. I don't think any amount of YouTubers complaining about it would actually really change anything fundamentally. I do think I would complain less if other people complained more, because I always say that I make the videos I would want to watch that other people aren't making. I think their game does deserve criticism. The developers deserve some criticism, and some people do. I'm not going to try and pretend like I'm the only one. Even Spencer was just making some criticisms a few minutes ago. But I do think that a lot of people don't. So it's sort of like, well, it's all condensed into my channel, right? I got so excited when I heard that the California class that I took out a second mortgage to open several thousand boxes to try and get one. I was unsuccessful. Yeah. Cheaper just to move to California. That's good, but not to buy water there. If they didn't push for cash, the game would probably have shut down already. I mean, I get that there's a small player base here, but they take in millions of dollars, I think, according to public records, and most of the game has already been developed. They only put out a few pieces of content a year. I'm not going to sit and pretend like I understand their finances, but to Spencer's point there when he said, he's joking. They took out a second mortgage to open boxes and he didn't win. I think there's a big difference between complaining about the gambling like I do and complaining about the high prices because, things like Mud's Market deserve criticism as well. But, I think it's where each person draws the line in terms of, where does someone wants to become my friend. That's suspicious because I don't know that anyone would want to be my friend. I don't know who this person is, so I guess I'll go ahead and accept, and we'll see how it works out. Maybe they're a Nigerian prince, and I just need to wire them some money.
You pay for lockboxes.
Yeah, to pay for lockboxes. But I think, they got the $600 Mud bundle, which they don't expect people to buy at full price. That's just part of their marketing scam. But just the fact that they would even say that it's a regularly $600, you can complain about that and say, well, look how ridiculous this price tag is. But, where does consumer responsibility come in? I think as long you can have something be as priced as high as you want, even if it's stupid and worthless, as long as you know exactly what you're getting before you buy it. And I think if that's the case, I might still complain about the prices here or there. I might say, oh, this is still overpriced. But I don't think that I would come down on it nearly as hard as I do now. Because at that point, if someone spends $600 on some pixels, well, I mean, that's their choice, right? I mean, they knew what they were buying when they paid for it. You can't really regulate that. I mean, at some point, that is just the free market. But when you don't know what you're getting when you buy it, that's a big problem. A child can download this game. And people often use the argument, I didn't want this to devolve into me complaining about the monetization again. We're going to get to the other questions, I promise. But, a child, people say, well, kids, if they have their parents' credit cards, that's on the parents. That's not true. Because you can take cash, go to the store and buy a Visa gift card and use it like a credit card to buy microtransactions. So it's not, I don't think there's some epidemic of 13-year-olds buying Visa MasterCards and using it to gamble in video games. But the point is that it's technically not true. And the thing is, we have laws that prevent you from gambling until you're 18 for real gambling, but there's no law against children gambling in video games. And they definitely employ psychological manipulations, which children are going to be more susceptible to, even though everyone playing this game is 45, probably. So, maybe it's not a big deal in this game, but, Stowe never understood that microtransactions are meant to be micro. Yeah, imagine what a macro transaction for this game would look like. I said one time when the 10th anniversary came out, imagine if they came out with an everything bundle, where you get everything that exists in the game and everything that will ever exist in the game, but it was $10,000. You could make an argument that that was actually a good deal, but then leave that bubble and go try to explain that to a normal person on the street, and they would think that you were insane. So, this stuff, people get into the rabbit hole, all this stuff. But anyway, let me get back to the actual question that was being asked. I don't think more people on YouTube complaining would change the monetization. I do think it would be healthier for the dialogue in the community, and I do think that because I'm the most vocal person doing it, definitely the most frequent person doing it, I sort of feel like I'm the one filling that niche. Different people have different niches, and unfortunately that's sort of become one of mine just because I'm one of the people who's willing to do it. Okay, so let's... this is my main account, Rob. This right here is my main account. If I had the legendary Miranda on my free-to-play, that would already be a miracle. Now, this is main account. Let's find another question here. We have a question from Jessica Cole. With the new changes coming to your channel, and I think she's referring to the fact that I said I wasn't going to be spending money on the game anymore. You mentioned what we'll see less of. What are some things we might see more of with this pivot? Before I answer that, Spencer's weighing in here. My vid on the Lobby stuff going to have some criticism, basically just recapping end of what I said on my stream, which, I thought that was a great conversation you had at the end of your stream. You're pointing out it's equivalent of $40 worth of Lobby for each of those. You take 4 traits plus the console. That's like $200 just to get that stuff, and most of it's junk. So it's pretty crazy, to be honest. But to answer Jessica's question, I'm still going to cover the news. That's old. What's going to be new, though? I think I tried to get a series off the ground called Destination Dry Dock, where I was sort of showing off ships that I have. And the thing is, my account is pretty stacked because we have more friend requests. I keep tabbing away to read the comments, so I'm not looking at the game too much. All right, we'll just accept it. We got more. Everyone wants to be my friend. They're all going to regret it. They're going to find out what a bad friend I am. I'm going to borrow 7 cents when we're at a McDonald's, and I'm never going to repay you. So I tried to get that series off the ground because I got a pretty stacked account. I've been playing for a long time. I've obviously put money into the game. I put money into the game that I wouldn't have spent ordinarily to make YouTube videos. So I have a lot of stuff on this account. And so I thought, let's just, let me try and take another crack at that series and basically just make videos just having fun with this stuff, right? I mean, I think the average player isn't going to have anywhere near as much stuff as I do, and I have lots of traits and all that kind of stuff. So just trying to do more fun stuff, like maybe wacky is the wrong word, but maybe themed builds, and just trying to be a bit more casual with it and reach in. And, I paid for it. I paid for it in time. I paid for it in money. Let's just enjoy the stuff I already have and maybe focus a little bit more on that. Plus, I have the free-to-play account, but that's already something I'm doing. So the regular videos that are still going to keep coming, the free-to-play series on the free-to-play account, the news, stuff like that I'm still going to make as well. And then there'll be other random one-off videos. Maybe I'll do more patrol reviews and stuff like that, but as for the main channel, it's probably just going to be more me taking advantage of the stuff I've already paid for and just trying to have some fun with it and sharing it with you guys. And I'll cover the content as it comes out as well when they release new content like episodes and TFOs and stuff. Rob says that was him sending the friend request. Don't worry, buddy. I'll buy your lunch. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's just what engineers do because we're great people. Okay, let's, that was one question thread. That was the old one. I posted another one today, so we got a couple more questions in here. And we've got a question from Lord, I don't want to mispronounce his name, Leopold, I think it's supposed to be, Lord Leopold. What do you think of the new Stowe website? I liked the blank pages under the media and community as well as the 2015 patch notes. Yeah, I mean, blank pages under media about sums it up, doesn't it? It's just blank. Here's what you can expect from the game. Nothing. 2015 patch notes, you know what? They're still relevant. I mean, it's not like they went back and reversed those changes, right?
Those are the patch notes for the people with consoles.
Yeah, those are the patch notes for console. They're just now catching up to 2015. I looked at it. It's definitely, how do I describe the new website? It simultaneously looks more advanced and less advanced than the current site. And the reason why I say that is because it's definitely flashier, right? It looks fancier, but not in a way that makes it look more modern. It looks like someone just got a hold of Web 2.0 tools and they're shoving it in your face, right? They're like, look what I can do. And they're trying to make it as flashy as possible. I still go to the ARC site, to be honest. I haven't really started transitioning over to the new site yet, so we'll see. I mean, hey, at least they did it, right? They did a thing. So, yeah, it's an okay site, I guess. All right, Born Again. This is, I'm going to try and I'm going to try and condense this question down here. I'm not going to read all this. I'm going to censor some of this. I'm curious about the special honor thingy they had a while ago. As you visit the Sol system, all the past ships were lined up with the story of each ship and captain. The day it came out, I was infuriated. The alien on screen would say, and that should have been the Federation president, this day will be remembered, blah, 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 this day, September 9, blah, blah, forever. But it was actually on 9/11 of that year, and they were using that day. In other words, remember this junk distraction and not the real horrors. My question is, I never seen anything further except the date was changed. I figure someone complained, and I don't know what happened with that. Maybe it was supposed to come out on September 9th, but it actually got delayed and came out on September 11th. The alien should have been the Federation president, and that whole thing was just basically a giant promotion for the 10th anniversary bundle, because the mission at the time, if you, I can't remember the name of it, but he played the mission at the time. There's that scene, and people screen cap it a lot on Reddit. If you're on Reddit, people love to pick their ship of choice because it's like all of the hero ships and then whatever ship you're flying. So should probably definitely do it with the... what's that ship Spencer sent me, the garbage hauler one? Find the most ridiculous ship you can put in there. But people love to screen cap that. So it's basically like, look at all these ships you can buy in the 10th anniversary bundle. So you can fly around and it's supposed to be like a museum. And it was, it wasn't very good. I did it once the first time they did it. I think they redid it a couple of times at the anniversaries. But... yeah, if there was a thing with 9/11, I think it was probably a coincidence. I don't think they were trying to make some kind of 9/11. That doesn't even make sense anyway, because the anniversary is at the beginning of the year. September is nowhere near the anniversary for Stowe, so maybe that's a weird console thing. I don't know if you play on console, because I know they get that stuff screwed up completely. The events are always at the wrong time of the year, so... maybe that was a weird console thing. I don't really know how to answer your question, though, but hopefully that at least I was able to let you know who the alien was. That is something I was able to do. That is all of the pre-submitted questions I have. So I'm going to come back and check the chat. If people in the chat have questions, I can answer them now, and we can go and try and do something fun here. So, Legendary Miranda is an okay ship, but let's go switch ships here, and I'll try and keep an eye on the chat in case anyone else has any more questions coming in live.
I can tell you.
I have a nondescript liquid here.
Iced tea.
Could be iced tea. You don't know. You don't know. It's not apple juice this time. You know what? I'm too old for that. I actually think my body would handle, if this were whiskey, I actually think I would digest it better than apple juice at this point in my life. I can't even imagine drinking a glass like this of apple juice. My stomach would revolt. Which tier 6 ship do you think is the worst? Oh, that is a great question. Which tier 6 ship is the worst? I do believe it's probably the Jupiter. And it just has no redeeming qualities. That's the problem. I mean, it is a carrier, which is cool. I wish the escorts were better, but they're not. The peregrines are good, but you can get those with any ship. The seating is just, it only has a 3-3 layout. It has no secondary deflector. It has a commander science seat. The console seating is bad. It has 3-3-4, so even if you wanted to lean into one thing over another, you can't even get 5 of any particular console on there. You could get a 5th one with a tier 6X, of course. It has one specialization seat, and that is an Intel seat. It's just not good. I mean, there are other bad ships, but I gotta feel like this is up there. This is at least a top contender. The Vorgan carrier gets my pick. Pretty bad. Yeah, I have a soft spot for that ship, the Ren Kodan. I flew that ship for a long time because I got it from the event, and it was a carrier, and I just flew it for a really long time. It was one of my first tier 6 ships. It was one of my first tier 6 ships that was a carrier. So I definitely have a soft spot for it. But you're right, it's terrible. It's an absolutely awful ship. What are your favorite lockbox and promo ships? Before I answer that, I noticed something interesting because they're moving so many of those into Mud's Market now. Because I have a promo choice box, and I haven't opened it. I've had it for 5 years at this point or something. I had bought a 4-pack of R&D promo boxes around Christmas one year. And my plan was to sell them for EC. Cause I wasn't going to open them because I've never liked to gamble. And I opened them on accident, and I won. And I've just never done anything with it. Well, I opened one on accident. Obviously, I didn't open 4 of them on accident, but I opened one of them on accident because I clicked on it by mistake. And then I got frustrated, and I was like, F it, let me just open the rest of them, and I'll just get the Lobby, and I won. That's happened to me multiple times. That's how I won the Liberated Borg Juggernaut with the anniversary bundle keys. I have that on video. And then the freighter that Spencer was showing off in his stream, I got from a DOF pack where I was just opening a few of them up. And I wasn't trying to win it, and I just got lucky. I've gotten pretty lucky on that stuff, or I'm not trying to gamble and I win on accident. Carriers need love. They're just really bad flight deck cruisers. Most of them are. Definitely the science ones. There's a big debate going on about whether or not they should be given a secondary deflector, and people are like, well, if you give it a secondary deflector, then it's going to be worse than or better than a regular science ship. I don't think that's true. I think when it comes to science vessels, the bridge officer seating matters a lot, and I think that something like the Jupiter isn't going to be better than other science ships just because it had, it's not like, if you gave the Jupiter a secondary deflector, it's not like it's suddenly going to be better than the Verne or anything like that. The seating still matters a lot, and the Jupiter still has bad seating. I think, considering how few they are, I think it would be fine. I think they should just give them a secondary deflector, at least the science ones. I'm saving my promo choice pack for the Stargazer. Yeah, I mean we don't. I mean I don't. I don't know if you know anything. Not that I'm asking you. But I wouldn't want you to say anything if you did. But yeah, let's be honest. It's almost certainly gonna be a promo ship, right? Like there's no way they don't put the Stargazer in a promo pack. Which specialty do you feel needs the most love at the moment? Pilot, probably. I mean, pilot's a weird one because on the one hand, pilot maneuvers are really unique and people really love them. It's a love-hate thing. People either love them or they don't care about them at all. But if you like pilot maneuvers, I mean, that's good enough, right? I mean, if you're someone who really loves pilot maneuvers, a full pilot ship is going to be good enough even if you don't like the bridge officer powers. So, but probably, I think it definitely, if I was going to pick one to get another pass-through to get the abilities buffed up like Intel did, it would be pilot. I know nothing, but that's where I'll be. That's where it'll be. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to go into a promo. Not even lockbox. Well, they're too lazy to do lockboxes these days. Have you noticed that? They're just putting the stuff straight in the Lobby store. When's the last time they actually had a new lockbox? I don't even like the gambling, and I'm irritated on behalf of the gamblers. You guys aren't even getting new lockboxes, for crying out loud. But let's look at this here. We look at more details, okay? Let's look at the ships that are in here. All right, the Section 31 Intel Dreadnought Cruiser. That's new, so it's obviously new. The Kirk is pretty new. The Courage is new. The new ones aren't going to be in Mud's Market, but if we scroll down a little bit, the Recon ships, well, we have sorry, there's a lot of noise outside right now. I don't know if you guys can hear it. The lower deck stuff should have been a new lockbox. I thought it were going to be. I really did think that they were going to have a new lockbox for that, and then they just didn't. Emerald Chain box. Oh yeah, they did. I guess the Emerald Chain is the newest one. But the Jem'Hadar ships, the bug ships. Well, there's a legendary version now, and the Strike ship is in a Muds bundle. The Anorax, is the Anorax in a Mud bundle? No, right? But they did put it in the Lobby store a bunch of times. The Sheshars are both in Mud bundles. They haven't put the Universe class ones yet. But what do we got? The Amory, that's in a Muds bundle. What else is in here? The Vodwar Juggernaut, that's in a Mud bundle. The Herc Vecred Hive Dreadnought, that's in a Mud bundle. Let's see what else we have here. Some of these aren't in a Mud bundle, but they have legendary versions. So like the D7 and all this stuff, the Miracle Worker, Flight Deck Carriers, they have legendary versions, which obviously aren't exactly the same. But if you just come down the line here, as long as you exclude the Jellyfish, right? As long as you exclude the Section 31 Command Heavy Battle Cruiser, most of these older promo ships either have a legendary version or they're in Mud's Market at this point. So I was looking through here because I was thinking, well, if I'm finally going to go free to play, it's not really, right? But if I'm going to stop spending money on the game, maybe I should just go ahead and use this promo choice pack. But then I was looking at the options and I'm thinking to myself, what would I pick, right? Like it seems like, there's almost nothing in here except for the very newest stuff that's really all that exclusive anymore. Says Spencer here. Yeah, many promo ships have been devalued. Muds has done a good job there, which I think is a good thing because it removes the gambling, right? So if you want any of those ships, you know what you have to pay and you know exactly what you're going to get. So I much prefer that these things are in a Muds bundle than for them to be gambling exclusives. I don't like gambling exclusives. It's just a weird coincidence that I have this choice box. But in general, if I could do away with all gambling exclusives, I would. I just feel like many of the newer promos haven't really been that unique. Often have lockbox ships that are equal or better stats-wise. Oh, definitely. And people complain about the Parliament and now the Cerritos, and it's like, yeah, those are really weak ships, you know. If you put them into the C-store, I think people would buy it, obviously, because they're TV show ships. But, I mean, just in terms of the stats, no one would want them. They're infamously bad. Most gamblers hate promo packs anyways. No good secondary prizes like Lockbox has. That's true. Well, that's the thing. Like, I actually have another thing that I had said before is if they took lockboxes and they just removed the starships, I would actually be okay with that. It's still gambling, but if you remove all the filler, so you take out all of the like CXP bonuses and all that crap, you take all that stuff out, and you take out the ship, so there's no big prize that's screwing up the averages, and the only thing you could get from a lockbox was a trait or a console or a kit module or something like that, I'd actually be okay with that. That would be fine with me. It would still be gambling technically, but the difference between the lowest value thing in there and the highest value thing would be way, way smaller than it is now. And if it was actually a new lockbox, you don't have any of that stuff, then you're going to get something you want when you open one because the pool is very small and they're all things that you would want. So I actually think that would be okay. It's still not ideal. I think what they should do is just be like, for what you're actually getting, it should be like, if a ship is regularly $30, okay, you charge $50. $49.99, still really high. That's like the price of a full game. You get the ship and you get all the lockbox stuff. So, in this case, you would get the medical rifle, you would get the 4 traits, you'd get the console, you'd get the Cerritos, you would just get all the stuff as an account unlock. It should just be an upfront price. You pay this, you get this. It's not really that difficult, but for some reason, game companies just don't want to do that anymore. To be honest, I actually look forward to the Mud Bundle announcements. If you want those ships, that's definitely the best way to get it. So I totally get that. I think you should win more than one thing per opening a lockbox, maybe like 3 things. Yeah, or just adjust the prices, or you could make it so that you can get, keys by playing the game, right? Maybe make that an incentive for doing elite content. Like maybe if you do an elite TFO and you meet the optional, maybe there's like some extra optional objectives, and if you meet those, you get a lockbox key or something like that. The fact that you have to spend real money for it, or someone does, you can buy them off the exchange from someone else, but somebody had to pay real money for it. It's too scummy, That way you can win 3 newspapers instead of just 1. You're thinking too small, hoodwinked. What about the fortune cookies? You could also get 3 fortune cookies. Donald Curley has just joined at Captain. Welcome aboard. Thank you very much for joining. You should have access to the members-only chat now, so if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them, and I'll take a look at them. Thank you again. Thank you for becoming a channel member. Spencer says, I think I'd be happy if Infinity was reworked to be like Phoenix, different tiers of tokens that gives us options to pick what we want. That would be another good option too. Like you open a lockbox and you get, a different rarity ticket. I mean, the problem with that is they would still skew the odds so that the tier that gives you the ship is really, really rare. And I feel like you should have an equal chance. Well, I don't want the ships to be in there anyway. Like having one thing that's hugely more valuable than everything else is what creates the problem. But they wouldn't do that because that's the whole point. They do it that way on purpose. The whole idea is to have the one thing in there that's more valuable than everything else. Only reason I ever open lockboxes for the Lobby exclusive gear. Thankfully, you can get some Lobby now through the event campaign, but at these prices, if they're going to start putting stuff directly into the Lobby store at $200 each, then the lobby you get from the event campaign, there's no way it's going to cover everything they put out in a year. So I think it's crazy that they're putting this stuff in there at 200 each now. I don't, just make it 50. Why does it have to be so much? I mean, I know why. It's money. The answer is money. There's some rule of acquisition that applies, I'm sure. Never really did answer Spencer's question earlier because he was saying, what's my favorite lockbox or promo ship? Oh, that's so tricky. That is a tricky one. There's so many at this point. I don't have a regular like Infinity choice box, so I can't really... What's even still in the Tier 5 choice box? Oof. Kazon Heavy Raider, the APU Cruiser, the Malon Battle... Oh, the Malon Battle Cruiser, that's the one I was thinking of. The Nihydran Destroyer, Tholian Meshweaver, the Sphere Builder, a Rebus Destroyer, Lucari Nakam Scout Ship, Hirogen Hunter Heavy Escort, which is the one ship all free-to-play are holding on to desperately. The day they make a Tier 6 Hirogen Hunter is the day that millions of free-to-play players, yeah, right, like there's millions of us, will cry out in agony. Because that's like the cheapest possible way. What are they going for on the exchange right now? That's like by far the cheapest way to get a ship that actually scales with your level. And I think it's kind of crummy that you don't get... You get the ship token at level, what is it, 62? 61? At 61, you get the Vice Admiral ship token, but it's not a Tier 5 U. Like, you don't, unless you happen to join the game at a time when there's an event going on, you don't have any way to get a Tier 5 U or a Tier 6, and the hull and shields don't scale with your level, and then you're going to have like 40,000 hull, and you're just going to get destroyed, and it's just really crummy. Was Hunter enough to pull it up? 800,000. These things are dirt cheap. You get this is the thing here. This is why I got mad. People kind of pushed back a little bit in that video I did, where I got really mad that they took the Tier 5 ships out of the Phoenix box. And, I mean, maybe a little bit of that was misplaced, right? Because those ultra rares were kind of hard to get. But I figure if you're buying upgrades for your gear anyway, you're probably going to get one eventually. But the thing is, these Tier 5 ships that give you a free Tier 5U upgrade, like this Hirogen Hunter, are like the only thing a new player has if they join the game between events and they don't want to spend money. And those events can be months and months apart. And you really need a Tier 5U or a Tier 6 once you hit level 65, because otherwise you're just going to die all the time. And on the free-to-play account, I was lucky enough to get that ship coupon because it was at the anniversary. But what if I didn't? I would just be flying junk. Even that Malon Battlecruiser, like, it can be upgraded to Tier 5U, but it's not a free upgrade like this Hirogen Hunter is. Then they changed them on Friday, so they now bind on pickup. Oh, that's gross. Yes, it is. This is Devin. I was furious about them removing the Tier 5 ships from the Ultra Rare Phoenix token, just removed from the game for no good reason. Exactly, there was no good reason for it. And the thing is, it's the argument that they used that made me angry, because they basically implied that these Tier 5 ships are junk, and that it's misleading to players to think that they're good, when it's like, okay, but they give you a free Tier 5U upgrade, and new players need that. So if you're not going to... I mean, they could fix it, right? This doesn't have to be a problem if they weren't so damn stingy. Just come back in here and say, okay, at level 65, you also get a Tier 5U token, right? So you can upgrade a ship to Tier 5U. That's it, right? That's all you got to do. Or just stop being so stingy and just say, okay, at level 65, you get a Tier 6 ship coupon, but it can't be used on new ships, like most of them are. That would be fine too. It's like really weird that they don't give you any way to get an end game ship as a new player unless you happen to be around during summer, winter, or anniversary. And the winter and anniversary ones are so close together, it may as well just be 2 times a year. Hey, Gowdy man, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. Hope you're having a good night there. Imagine fighting VOD War with a level 40 ship. And that's basically what they're asking new players to do. It's crazy. This is why you have so many people on Reddit who are always complaining about the VOD War and stuff and how they can't survive the cluster mines and all that, because they're probably flying around in a ship with 38,000 hull or something like that. Martin ARG 1979 has joined the channel as a captain, so thank you. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the channel. If you should have access to the chat now, so if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them, and I'll address them right away. 1979 seems like a pretty good year. I'm a little younger than that, but not too much younger. I'll put it this way: you're between me and my wife. That didn't come out right. You're older than me, but you're younger than my wife. All of a sudden, it's just like, this person is no longer a channel member. Greetings from Buenos Aires. I was the one who added you as a friend. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I had a bunch of friend requests earlier. Yeah, very nice. Then I'm glad I accepted your friend request. People always put stuff on the exchange for a crazy amount. What is, you can get one for 800K. What does someone charge? Let's do descending price. Let's have a little fun with the exchange. 1.5 billion. Oh, could you imagine misclicking and buying this for 1.5 billion? Oh, that's crazy. What are people thinking? That's all they can hope for, right? Is that someone trips and misclicks with their mouse. My goodness. Ever wonder why Cryptic is so stuck on removing content when they add new content, mission, ships, etc.?
They got the one Dell computer from 1992.
Yeah. I mean, like some of the content. Uh-oh, I have mail. This smells like Spencer. Yeah, it's Spencer. What do I have that was expired? Exchange sale expired. 29 of 47. I guess it didn't sell. The poor from poor lockbox gambler at Spencer P96. Did you make that character just for this joke, or did you actually have a character named Poor Lockbox Gambler already? That's hilarious. I took out a second mortgage, and this is all I have to show for it. Take these items in my summary. For salvage technology. Why are you even allowed to get that out of a box? That's horrible. God. Special requisition pack. Oh, you got the freighter there. I'm going to send this back to you, though. 10,000 CXP bonus pool. Very nice. And 40 board data core. It's an old character? Okay, yeah. I mean, this is actually worth some money, so I'll probably send it back to you. But need to go claim it first, cause I already have one, I think. Nah, I have a row in my bank of them. Oh, okay. Come to my mail here. What is the deal with this? I can't remember. This is psi 15%, power levels, miracle worker, exotic damage. Let's see. What was that? 29. Help if I could spell. Is that the right one? Yeah. Oh, I'm still on descending. Usable. Oh, they're selling for a fair bit. I guess I could try reselling that one. I don't know what I had listed it for that I thought I was going to get. Getting really tired of these 2 or 3 major updates a year now. We used to get 2 huge expansions or so a year with 6 or 7 missions, Zen bundles, TFOs, etc. Yeah, I agree completely. They've really slowed it down. They put out so little new content now. And to add insult to injury, a lot of the content they're putting out now feels recycled. You know, like, I mean, I realize some people think I was just being really petty, complaining about the new missions, but it's like, I'm playing it and it's like, okay, this section feels just like Operation Wolf, and this section feels like just like, Pavo Dissension. And it's like, you just feel like they took a bunch of TFOs and stuck them together, right? I will say that the new tutorial revamp felt pretty good, but one thing I didn't realize at the time is I started playing a long time ago, like 2013 or something, but apparently the board, either I don't remember or I started playing after they changed it, but I guess some of that was actually from the original tutorial before they changed it to the Klingons. So I was all like, oh, look how nice this looks, but it might have been that it was just from back when they actually gave a shit. Now we get 3 updates with 1 or maybe 2 missions if we're lucky. The devs are sorely out of touch with what the fans want. I do feel like they've upped the quality, or quality, that's subjective. I mean, I thought the writing was terrible. That is a form of quality. I think they put more effort in. Like, you look at some old missions, they're not as long, they're not as involved, they don't have the voice acting and stuff. So I think, well, let me put it another way. More resources go into the missions now than they used to. Doesn't necessarily make them better, but they're not used appropriately. The harsh reality of that is that Cryptic has a fairly established game that provides a large amount of content to new players. They know what they have invested over the past decade is enough to get those new players hooked and invest into the game. Yep, it seems old to me. Yeah, I don't remember the old tutorial. But to answer Spencer's point, if, for all the complaining I do about this game, if someone was the kind of person who liked to play games and they liked Star Trek, I would recommend it enough. I couldn't recommend spending money on it, I think, at this point. But I would recommend playing it enough to do, say, the Iconian arc and the Gamma arc and maybe some of the other stuff, because they do have some good stuff, some older stuff that's probably worth experiencing. But I think getting caught into the end game rat race and spending hundreds of dollars and all that, which is what they want people to do, and it's because they're trying to catch whales. Yeah, I would tell people to avoid that like the plague. Just sort of install the game. If you want to throw them 30, if you play it for 50 hours and you enjoy the Victory is Life campaign and you want to throw them $30, sure. I'm not trying to say no one should ever give them money. But, for me, I've given them a lot of money. And there's no way I'm ever giving them any more now. They called you out on that too, man. They basically said they ignore you and that you're the problem. Rage tubers. You have a reason to be upset, though, and it isn't like you didn't make suggestions. Yeah, I feel like I've made suggestions, a lot of suggestions over time. And, of course, they get ignored, but, I never expected them to. And it's like, you never know whether the developers watch your stuff or not. I've never gotten Kale to formally acknowledge me ever, that I even exist. But when he said Rage Tubers on that stream, it's like, who else is he talking about? There's no one else, right? Unless there's some secret stow tuber out there I don't know about. It has to be me. You know what I mean?
Hardly a rage tuber. You missed Martin and a bunch of other comments.
Come back and check the comments here. The new missions look great, but they're overproduced. We need more quantity. Overproduced in like the ways that don't matter. Like they like to do these cutesy little cutscenes and stuff, and they look nice. But it's like, maybe hire a writer instead of letting Kale do it or whoever's writing this stuff. I honestly have a hard time believing a professional writer is working on these scripts. They're just so badly written. Old tutorial had Borg fly out the hole. Good times. That sounds like it'd be pretty neat. I made the video about the new tutorial, and I don't know if that's from the old tutorial that they reused or if it's new, but the part where they turned into skeletons, I was like, what? I was like, that's pretty crazy. I can't believe they animated that. Hoodwinked says, that's what I just read. Martin says, I'm playing this game since 2012, so I know all the changes and the old things. They do some things very good and others not so much. One of the problems with it being such an old game is, it took well over an hour for me to do the tutorial, and I cut it down to like 9 minutes or something. But the Vega Colony stuff, right? There was parts on Vega Colony, and I was doing commentary the whole time, and then you just cut out the best bits. But one of the things I pointed out that didn't make it into the video is that it's like there are places on Vega Colony where it looks like a PS2 game. Like, it looks really bad, like the environmental details and stuff. So it's like you can have people post these screenshots on Reddit where they got it up on 4K and everything, and you got like the galaxy swirl in the background and the ship lighting and everything, and it looks really nice, if you're into ship porn. And then you got other parts of the game where it looks like, a PS2 game, and the quality across the board, the visuals, the storytelling, like just everything is just this giant mess where it's good here and bad there, and there's no consistency to it, and it's all spaghetti code and everything, things, systems that have been added and then abandoned, and it's just is a clown car at this point. Rob says, quit raging then. Gouty Man says, not the solution. I mean, I don't think my raging is actually going to change anything. I don't really think I'm really that angry. I mean, I get angry sometimes. I put out a few angry videos recently. I think that if you're someone who's playing the game and you see problems with it and no one's talking about it because everything is banned on the forums, and people do complain, some on Reddit, but you look at YouTube, and people do complain, right? Like Spencer complains sometimes. Rashad Shadowstar complains sometimes. There are people who do complain other than me. But, if generally speaking, there's not much complaining, I should say. It kind of gives you the impression that nobody cares. So it's sort of like, well, if I complain and I'm, angry about it and I'm raging about it, you could say, well, it's just childish and you're just complaining about a video game. But people have, I had a comment, I don't want to try and go back and find it now, but, because I don't know if this person would want me to share it on the stream, but they left me a comment, and it was so sad because they said that they spent hundreds of dollars on lockbox keys and they didn't get the ship. And they thought that they were going to get it, right? Like they thought, and some of that could be my fault, because we always, the problem with having it be gambling, the problem with having it be a chance is that you could open 1,000 boxes and not get it. Or you could open 2 and get 2 ships. So, we try to, as a community, find some shorthand for that. So when I say, a lockbox ship or a promo ship is $200, that's kind of fast and loose, and it's sort of like the expected value, like about how many you would have to open. And, people hear that, and it's sort of like, you look at the odds, and we used to think it was, 5%. Now we know better. It's way worse than that. And then after 300 boxes, you start getting a pity timer thing. Spencer's done a lot of good work reporting on that. But, the chances are just really bad either way. And, this person spent hundreds of dollars trying to win a ship, and they didn't get it. And it's like, that's got to be crushing, right? And, that's real money. That's a trip to the doctor's office. That's gas in your car. That's a week's groceries for your family. And, maybe they had that money to spend. That's disposable money. But if they had gotten the thing they wanted out of it, then maybe they could say, well, it was something I bought for myself. It was a treat, and I spent this money on myself, but I got something for it. If you spend $200, $300, and you get nothing in exchange, basically nothing in exchange, then that's got to be crushing, right? And you're thinking about all the things you could have done with that money. You're going to feel like a fool. You're going to feel like you got scammed. And those people do not have a voice. Those people are voiceless. So when people say that I'm childish or immature about complaining about this stuff, the gambling and specifically, it's like, this ruins people's lives. And even for people whose lives it doesn't ruin, who don't have a gambling addiction, if you're just like that guy who spent hundreds of dollars and didn't win, I mean, that's messed up. It shouldn't be that way. It's a video game. They just use people, Anyway, rant over. Everything turns into a rant. Martin says, it's your opinion and no one can tell you what to say or what not to say. It's all your point of view. That's very true. And I've lost some subscribers recently, but if they're so offended about me complaining about the game, then I guess my channel's not for them anyway. So it's not like I was ever going to get 1 million subscribers doing Star Trek Online content. Gowdy Man says the solution is that the devs focusing on the needs of the many instead of the needs of the whales. People are getting fed up, me being one. I haven't made a video in a while due to anger and real life. Yeah, they just focus on the whales because not only because that's where the money is, but that's also where their priority is. That's the way that I said that in that video. That's the way they want it, right? It's not just that they focus on the whales because they have to. They also focus on the whales because they want to. That makes it almost worse. Hoodwinked says, was it you that made the joke about Janeway promoting the new player but couldn't promote Harry Kim for 7 years? Yes, it was. I had edited the video and I was going back and watching the edited version before I uploaded it, and I was laughing out loud when I got to that part of the video, and my wife was like, "Are you laughing at your own joke?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it was a good joke." The tutorial does a good job of taking a lot of your time and teaching you basically nothing. Oh, that is so true. The tutorial takes a long time and it teaches you nothing about how to play the game. Don't worry, I love it when you rage. Oh yeah? I can't believe you would say that to me. I'm banned on Reddit. Yeah, I am banned on Reddit. That's true. I've been banned on Reddit for years. I don't know if they're the same moderator over there, but they're just real Ned Flandersy over there. And I'll admit I was being an asshole that day. But, they banned me. So what are you going to do? It's a permanent ban. So I don't think that I would... Reddit doesn't seem to like YouTube for some reason. Redditors don't like it when YouTubers show up, so maybe it's just as well I'm not on there. Martin says, it's simple. Some, when don't like something, they just quit without complaining. If you complain, it's because you like the game and you want what's best for the game, and now they worry because they have less whales. That's true, and because there's such a disproportionate amount of their income comes from such a small number of players, let's say for the sake of argument that I put out a rage video. We'll call them rage videos now. But let's just say I put out a video that's critical of the game, and it causes one whale to quit. That's like $10,000, $20,000 a year or whatever that I just took out of their budget. So yeah, I could see how they would be afraid of that, because even though there's no guarantee, even if I just convinced one or two whales, that's going to have a big impact. Gouty Man says, then there are also the commenters that have a fundamental misunderstanding of StowTubers, saying our videos get us the money to buy these things. I'm in significant debt to buy all the items I review. Thankfully, I won't gonna say that I never did that, because I got kind of screwed sideways with taxes last year that I wasn't expecting, but because I didn't realize, you had to pay self-employment tax and all this other stuff. But before I started getting YouTube money, I didn't really spend that much on the game. I basically only spent what I would have spent on other games, which wasn't much, like maybe like $60 a few times a year. Because back then they used to have the 3 ship packs for $60 or 6,000 Zen, so I might get 1 or 2 of those a year. I really didn't spend much before YouTube came along, and then once I got ad money, I did start putting it back into the game to make videos. But I never bought things I do think there are people making videos, and I won't name them, who claim that they need to spend the money on things they don't need to buy because they need to do it because it's their job, when I know there's no way in hell they're making back the amount of money they're spending. So they would definitely save money by not buying those things. We don't make much money. It's way less than minimum wage, especially once you calculate out the number of hours it takes. It's a hobby. This is a hobby, It brings in a very small amount of money. Some of it goes back into the channel, but there's no money here. Anyone doing stow videos is doing it as a hobby. This is not some money-making thing. Kale can sit there and say people are doing it for the clicks because that's how they make money. You know what? I'm going to tell you something right now. People with a shopping cart collecting empty cans and bottles to turn into the recycling center are pity me for the amount of time I spend for so little money. You really don't make much on YouTube with a channel this size, so it's not sitting here rolling in cash, I can tell you that.
Don't name names.
Ramsman says, much prefer you ranting about the game and its problems than the other streamers ranting about other players. I don't watch too many other people streaming. I watch Spencer whenever I have a chance to. Sometimes I've been able to watch McStud. A lot of times people are streaming when I'm not really able to watch, and I don't always get to go back and watch the VODs. I've caught Triz sometimes when he's on. I try to watch people if I can. When they're on, it's just the schedules don't line up too much. So I've heard there's been a lot of drama during people's streams, but I guess I just don't end up watching those. Spencer says, I used to be on the Reddit. It has went downhill in the past few years. You're not losing much by not being allowed there. Yeah, I still check it pretty regularly, not every day, but I still check in on there just to get a finger on the pulse of what that community is thinking, and also sometimes the developers will post there. But yeah, it's amazingly boring over there, I have to say that. I mean, I know there's not much going on with the game at any point in time, but man, there's not a lot of interesting posts there. No offense to people who make posts on the Stow Reddit, but people post some boring shit over there. It's just like, pictures of, them over at what's the desert planet now? Nimbus and stuff like that. It's fine, it's good it's good content for the people who like it, but it's like there's nothing meaty there. It's just all fluffy stuff. Who could that be? I don't know who it could be. It could be literally anybody. Hoodwinked guy sitting at the Walmart exit with a sign does better. Yeah, that guy's making minimum wage. You're just saying the guy like begging for money at the door. Yeah, probably. Ramzan says, like Treyzander and Casual, a lot have stopped watching other Stowe streamers. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, there are a few people who are still doing it pretty consistently. But like me, I'm doing it a couple times a month. I mean, I wouldn't even really. I maybe Spencer can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I feel like he's more of a streamer that makes videos, and I'm more of someone who makes videos who streams sometimes. Because Spencer's put the work into his stream. He's got the nice overlay, he's got the stream elements and stuff. When he does put out a video, they're usually really high quality, and he does those like those guides, like the DPS guides and the support guide and all that, really thought out, planned out, very, very good videos. But it just seems to me, and I don't want to speak for him, like he's more in his element when he's streaming and hanging out and chilling and stuff. Whereas I like to just get in on the video editor and try stuff and make really entertaining videos, and I feel like an imposter when I'm streaming because I'm just not as good at it, I guess. It doesn't feel like my thing, even though I do it. I feel like I'm more of a video maker. I'm not going to name any names either, but I'm also concerned with a few of these StoTubers I'm watching giving very false information, like bare minimum research will tell you what you need. That's the downside of the internet in general. There's anyone can say whatever they want, and you have to. It's a skill that I certainly wasn't taught as a child that kids need to be taught these days, is how to sort through information on the internet. Thankfully, with Star Trek Online, if you get bad information, it's there's a limit to how bad it can be. You're not going to end up taking ivermectin or something, and they can't even be bothered to do the research. I mean, I've made mistakes. I've said things that were wrong before, but I think there's a difference between trying to put out good information and sometimes screwing up, and people who just don't give a crap. Those guys make bank. Usually the people who make the most money on the internet are the people who put the least effort in. Content thieves, people who steal other people's stuff, people who plagiarize and there's a difference between outright copying, but copying not in the sense of like copy paste, but copying like just making a remake. Like they'll word for word they'll say the same thing. They'll make very similar graphics and stuff. It's still essentially plagiarized. They just changed it a little bit. That's fair. The streams are easier for me, to be honest. Sometimes vids take very long time for me to do. A vid like the Torp Guide took 12 plus hours. Yeah, and I tried to help get the word out on those videos because I know how much work you put into them, and it's some of the best information out there on the game. And, and I imagine the views aren't crazy on a video like that, so it's like, well, what would you rather do? Would you rather stream for a few hours and hang out and have fun, or put 12 hours into a video and hope people watch it, So I'm glad you're still doing those videos, though. Or still doing videos. SAB does a lot of PowerPoint stuff. It's nice. Yeah, he does. Those PowerPoint videos are great. I wonder whatever happened to Counter YOLO. I don't think he ever, maybe I missed it. I don't think he ever really fully, I know like maybe he changed jobs or something, but I never really fully understood what happened to him. He kind of just disappeared. Martin says they don't do much even to get more money. I already have the Cerritos, all the new lower decks loot, lobby things. So what now? No need to spend more. That's the other side of free-to-play stuck too. Well, yeah. I mean, this is the content problem, right? And also, if you go out and buy a ship, even a gambling ship, and you just throw money at it and you gamble, what do you do with it? Like if you haven't played through all the stories and everything, you still have all that to do. But the events are just repeat the same thing over and over and over again. It's like a lot of times this is why people DPS chase. This is why people space Barbie. It's why they roll new characters all the time, because everyone's trying to solve the same problem. There's nothing to do. I wish I knew how to use PowerPoint. All my PowerPoints look awful. I will say, I think I used to do a thing where I was kind of doing it in the video editor, and that was awful. I think using actual PowerPoint, or even the Google version on Google Docs, is just better. I would suggest doing that if you're not already. It's like he paid for MS Office and learned to use it, unlike me, who bought it and never did a damn thing with it. I always think it's hilarious when you look at a job posting and it has all these crazy requirements, like, must have 16 years of nuclear physics experience, must be a licensed nuclear bomb handler, must have negotiated peace between Palestine and Israel. It's all this stuff, and like, wow, and it's like, and then you get to the bottom and it's always like, proficiency with Microsoft Office, and it's like, I think maybe if this person has never used Microsoft Office somehow or isn't proficient with it, they can probably figure that out. You don't need to put that in the job requirements. It's like if someone else has all these other crazy job requirements, they can learn how to use Microsoft Office. Hoodwinked Excel gets the most use for me. I like the spreadsheets. There's two kinds of people. There's people who like spreadsheets and people who avoid them. And I'm a spreadsheet guy, and my wife is not. She makes tables in Microsoft Word because she doesn't like using Excel. And she's not. I'm calling her out in front of a bunch of people. Ooh, yeah, she's not. She's in the room. She's not happy about that. She's like, that's personal.
No, it's for personal documents, not for work documents.
Calling her out, guys. The winky there from Hoodwinked. Hey, you're living up to your name. Hoodwinked Winked. I chase DPS to have something to do. Exactly. Yeah, because imagine if you didn't roll new characters, you didn't do Space Barbie, you didn't do DPS chasing. What is there to do? It's really hard for this. By the way, this has been on the screen for a long time. I've been playing the game for like a decade. Look at how pathetic my commendations are. You can tell just how much I care about this system. But anyway, I forgot what I was saying. What would you do? Like, it's really hard to imagine that this is anyone's main game, right? Who doesn't do that stuff? Like, if you're a DPS chaser or you're a content creator or whatever, like, you have things to do because you have the extra layer on there. But if you're not, it's like, this is a side game at best. You log in, maybe you do your endeavors, maybe you do the event that's going on, and then what? Right? You have stuff to do while you're leveling up and doing your reputations, but once you've done with that, there ain't a hell of a lot to do. So it's just like, your second game, maybe, not really like your main game. That and market manipulation. You all heard of the Inquiry Battlecruiser. Let's take a look at the Inquiry Battlecruiser. Let's see here. This has not made it into a mud bundle yet. I'm going to do an inquiry here for the Inquiry. Do I still have it on descending? No. 730 million. That's not bad for a promo ship, to be honest. Well, my entertaining in the game is finished one by one. My tunes, I have like 50, So I have a lot of work to do. That's what I enjoy most of the time, other than game content. Yeah, so it sounds to me like you're one of those people who just makes new characters. So once you got a character and you've sort of finished doing all their stuff, you just move to the next character and do it all again. And, that's a valid way to continue enjoying the game. Sleeping on the couch tonight? Yeah, probably. Probably not. No, she's just going to have to put up with me. LOL, I have almost all the ships and I don't do Admiralty. Ironic. I mean, why would you want to do Admiralty? People do Admiralty to get resources to buy ships. If you already have all the ships, why would you need to do Admiralty? And also, I would like to point out, you tell me how much fun this looks like to you, okay? I've gotten to a point where if the thing I'm doing isn't inherently fun, like if I'm outside of any reward structure or anything like that, if the thing I'm doing at that moment isn't fun on its own, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm sick of doing things in video games I don't really enjoy that much because I'm trying to earn a reward. And games love to do that to you. So you tell me how much fun this is. I'm going to click a button. Ooh, going to click on Admiralty. Oh boy. Let's find Ferengi Alliance. Investigate Ferengi distress signal. Tell me more. Oh, there's nothing more to tell. That's it. It just tells me what the results are going to be and what the requirements are. Let's plan that out. Let's plan it out. Let's sit around the table in our magic meeting room and have all the bridge officers discuss what we're going to do. Let's see. Let's pick a ship here. We'll pick the Tanis. Okay, I'm going to click a button. Ooh, boy, that's so much fun. Hold on a second. Oh, Jesus. Oh, sorry, I was sitting back in my chair by how much fun I was having. The DOF system is so hard to level, especially diplomacy. I don't think I'll ever be able to finish it. Yeah, it takes forever. I mean, I've had the time to do it. I just haven't, obviously. Wasn't this the ship Spencer was complaining about? Someone was screwing with his exchange market. I missed the beginning of his stream. I think I caught most of it, but I might have missed that part. Never mind. He literally just talked about it. Thanks, Rob. But people. So it's like, why do people do Admiralty? Why do people do, contraband and all that kind of stuff? They're not doing it because it's fun, because it's not fun. It's just clicking on menus. Clicking menus is not fun. They do it so they can get rewards, so they can convert it into Zen on the exchange, so they can buy ships. They're trading their time for real world currency, and they're probably making way less than minimum wage, so they're doing about as well as a YouTuber. And for what? It's just like, at some point your time has to be worth something to you, And I've never really been one who did it anyway. I have openly been against that for years. The idea that I've always maintained that if you wanted to enjoy the game free to play, don't do the dilithium exchange, don't grind Admiralty, don't do all that stuff because it's not fun. It's just a huge waste of time. That you should just do reputations and stuff, which are kind of its own form of a time waste, but at least when you're still clicking through menus, but the main part of it is that you have to get the reputation marks. Getting the reputation marks means going out and doing content like TFOs. So at least, you can have fun doing the TFOs, right? So if you're out doing a TFO or a patrol and you're enjoying that activity and you're also getting the reputation marks for it, that's different, right? Because then you're having fun and earning rewards. If you're doing something just to earn rewards, I don't think it's worth doing. I mean, I'm not going to tell other people what to do. That's just my personal advice, is not to do that stuff, because I think it's a waste of your life. But I don't blame people. I'm not looking down on people who do it. I just, I know Triz does it a lot, but Spencer says, hoodwinked, yeah, these SOB keep dumping them at cheap prices. Need them over 1 billion so I can gamble. Trizander thinks it's fun. Yeah. Trizander, he loves the free-to-play life, grinding out the resources. Martin says, yeah, I know Admiralty is not fun, and I get more rewards from random TFOs. Yeah. Donald says, what honestly, most of my time in game is spent grouping with newer players from my fleet and helping them to learn elite content. Well, that's great. Socializing, hanging out with people, doing content, that sounds like a great way to play the game. Hoodwink says, this join random is really the only fun thing I do in the game. It's gambling, but it's free. Let's see, what are the odds? If I queued up a random, what are the chances we get a Borg TFO? Let's see. What do people think? I like to queue for Days of Doom or Gravity Kills, then decline them when it pops. Lets people doing random TFO enjoy that great content. Oh, that's evil. I'm going to click join random. Let's see what we get. Let's see if anyone can correctly predict what we're going to get. ISA is probably a pretty safe choice. Starbase 1 is another good option. Now that Terran in front of you, that's my Terran. Oh, hold on a minute. You're in front. Oh, hello. There we go. Hey, it is right there. Martin ARG 1979. You're right here in game with me. So we must be in the same instance. What are we in? 6 here, it looks like. That's my Terran, and that tune I made to sell all the Terran bundle, and that tune alone now has 1.2 million in unrefined dill doing randoms and events. Wow, that's pretty crazy. I have a bank character who's a Ferengi, and I called him Plank or Plonk because Quark. Do you get it? Quark is named Quark, so I went to the Plonk scale and named him Plonk. It's a joke reference to units of measurement. But yeah, I have a Ferengi bank character, which I never did anything with. You know, I made him and then he doesn't do anything. He just sits around. Because I'm not really a market player, but I was like, maybe I will be. So I made this guy and then I never did it. What did we get? Did it say? I wasn't paying attention. Okay, I read that. Would love if they would just let us do elite randoms. I think they might be a bit justified in not doing that because the average player can't handle elite TFOs, and I think it would lead to a lot of people getting their ass kicked and getting mad about it. To be honest, I shouldn't do elite in this ship. I don't even know what the setup is on this legendary Miranda, and I have no idea what the status of any of my traits or loadouts are. I haven't even checked it. And even if it was correct, it's whatever random thing I put on there when I reviewed the ship. Oh, here we go. We got disconnected from the server. Borg disconnected. That's a long one. It's a good one, though. I like that one, but come on. Can I spell today? Alright, my password is engineers are the best. Let's get back in here. Is your wife laughing at you? Yes, she's not laughing with me. She's not laughing at me, she's laughing with me. There's a difference. Gateway to Grethor. No! No, not Gateway to Grethor. Come on. I mean, it's not the worst, but is this one of the Endeavors? I should have checked that. No, okay. There's a pretty good chance you're going to get whatever the Universal Endeavor is if it's a TFO. Nice load time. Disconnected on map change. That never happens. Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about. I think I should just complain less about it and give them more money. That's probably the best solution. Stop being so negative all the time. I mean, that really wasn't that big of a deal. To be honest, I haven't really had that much problems personally with rubber banding. What Frankenstein's monster is this ship right now? I've got Class F shuttles. For people who don't know, I'm only in this ship because I wanted to use it for the Vanity Shield video, so I did nothing to try and make it flyable. It's just the last ship I had on the character. We got Elite Class F shuttles. Okay, a couple locators, Lorcas. What is this? Saboteurs, 3-piece. What was I thinking with that? Helical torsion, Dominion defense screen, DPRM, assimilated, ultimate, tachyokinetic, bioneural. What is this, like a disruptor build? Look at these traits. It has fresh from R&R and nothing else. And for some reason on Starship traits, this is all screwed up. Why is this one down here? Is it because it was this? Will this fix it? No. Why does this look like this too? It's all messed up. This is randomly missing for no reason. Oh my god. Okay, well, apparently my traits are I can go F myself. That's what my traits are. I don't think anyone else has had this problem, right? I think I'm the first person to ever have this problem. Just waiting to see a crash and a cryptic error report. I probably should pay attention to the screen. No, they already got a lot of money, and look at how the game works, rubber banding all the time because the server can't hold that amount of players. LOL, the traits, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm just flexing at this point. Engineers are so OP, I don't even need traits. That's basically what's going on here. Since the patch, the trait boxes are messed up if you scale the UI down. Which I do. I scale it down a little bit because I think it looks better. I mean, this isn't very hard. Even without the traits, it's fine. I have all epic gear and everything, so. Alright, let's close this. Baltimore Raider, that's a pretty cool ship. I do like that one. Alright, let's go close some more here. This isn't that bad, right? It's not gravity kills or, you know, there are worse ones I could have gotten, but it's just kind of long. It's annoying having to fly around all the time. If anyone has more questions or comments, because this thrilling gameplay certainly isn't going to keep people here. My pets are probably doing more DPS than I am without any traits on. You know what else? I did both of the new story missions in this ship, and I didn't even check to see whether my traits were slotted, and I did it on advanced, and I didn't have any problems, so I'm guessing the new missions are relatively easy in terms of difficulty because I didn't have any problems with it, and I didn't have any traits slotted apparently. Sending Klingons in torpedoes to infiltrate the ship. You're an evil Fed captain. Klingons will do anything for honor. Speaking of elite gear, I think the Phoenix changes were done in preparation for Mark 16. Whoa. They did the work for Mark 16 when they did Mark 15. Figure they want people to pay more for that upgrade. Oh, if that's true, that's pretty scummy. And like, what's the justification for that, right? Because maybe I'm remembering wrong, But wasn't Mark 15 when they increased the level cap to 65, and that's the reason why they did it? I think so. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But like, if they increased it to Mark 16, what would the reasoning be? We just felt like it? Like, what? Yeah, I have that trouble with traits, but I don't know why it is not happening anymore to me. I set the traits, go to orbit, set them again, and done. They don't move anymore. That's what I do. Normally, loadouts will fix it for me sometimes, but it's particularly bad. It's not always, and it's particularly bad right now. One of my first videos I'll make when I start up again is going to be a tutorial for the tutorial, teaching you all of the things the game fails to. That's a good idea. The unofficial actual tutorial. I should probably close this. Look at those pitiful numbers. Sad. Sadage. At least I'm flanking. That's really what matters here. If I can get out of combat, maybe I can do something with the traits here. But it's not like it really matters. It's not hindering us or stopping us from doing the TFO. Things are still blowing up, so it's not really been a big issue. It's time gated anyway. Oh, okay, let's see. Do I have a loadout I can load? Did that fix anything? No, of course not. Why would it? Why would that fix anything? Yeah, I figure a level cap increase to 70 with Mark 16 gear is very possible in the near future. Oh, wow. You really think they're going to increase the level? That's... I mean, it was... Because it was... Because they're not going to have an expansion. So I guess they would just be like, we're just going to increase the level cap for reasons. Which, I mean, is fine, I guess. That would make sense to do it along with a level increase. Which, you know, gives well, hey, oh, I know. If they increase the level cap to 70, then the Jem'Hadar Captain bundle suddenly goes up in value. Now you're getting in at 10 whole levels instead of 5. It all makes sense now. Alright, let's use some clickies such as they are. Oh. Let's get this guy. Oh, come on. Can you stop teleporting, please? I don't think increasing it to 70 would really add a whole lot. Like, are they going to scale the enemies as well? I mean, I figure they'd have to, right? Well, okay, let's reconsider this. If they increase the level cap to 70, that means we get 5 more levels of level rewards. Maybe they could give out a tier 6 coupon then, finally. Or at least a tier 5U, something. So, you know, if they increase it to 70 and they actually give out decent rewards for the levels, for hitting level 70, that could actually be pretty good. Probably have to pay to unlock the level 70 cap. Could you imagine having to pay to... So if you're free to play, you're just permanently 5 levels below everyone else. The tutorial, yeah. Gouty Man says he's dead serious. I mean, I'm ready to watch that video whenever you make it. What endeavor were we doing there? Iconian TFOs. We just got lucky, I guess. Lucky, quote unquote, and got an Iconian one. I don't know if I want to keep rolling the dice. My goodness. Already at Fleet Admiral 65. Are we going to jump genre and add Grand Moth now? Well, yeah, it's true. We're already at Fleet Admiral. Where do you go? I need to go get... Why do I not have any... I mean, I think I know why. It's because I don't care about ground, but I need to go to medical. I'm injured. Level cap increase would make enemies harder, would make people want to upgrade gear to have an easier time again. And with the Phoenix nerf, like you said, it would mean you need more upgrades. That seems like a really awful and ham-fisted way to try and force people to buy more upgrades.
Well, that's what they're good at.
Of course, that seems to be all they're capable of doing, as my wife points out. That's their speciality. Don't worry. Taking things away from players and then forcing them to work harder to get back what they already had is our speciality, along with Sith Lords. Treat injuries, yes, please. Thankfully, it's free because we live in the Federation future, where you have Medicare for all, and either that or I just have really banging insurance. I don't know. Starfleet Commander for everyone. Starfleet Commander. What crazy rank would that be? Is there like an equivalent of a 5-star general, in Starfleet? Because in real life, usually it stops at 4-star. But there are 5-star generals. But at that point, it's like only during war, and then it's like you're the highest general, and you're like in charge of the whole military, basically. So maybe there's something beyond Fleet Admiral where you're just like, the Super Admiral that is in charge of all of Starfleet. We'll get Quinn's job. That's what it'll be. Finally, we'll get player housing, and we'll get to customize Quinn's desk chair. Star-Lord, I've never heard of that. Who's Star-Lord?
Isn't that Marvel?
In case you can't tell, that's a joke, because when he tried to tell people he was Star-Lord, they're like, who? Not all those who spend money, but... sorry, I'll read this a little bit here. Not all those who spend money... but K bundles and use the epic token, so I don't need Phoenix. So not a good idea if they think that. Okay, I see what you're saying, right? So people who spend money regularly end up with the tech upgrades that just automatically take something up to maximum quality. So the whales probably don't actually need more upgrades because they're getting a lot of those. Federation President at level 70, yeah. And then, you know what? That would actually make sense. Because if we were the Federation President, then spending all of our time clicking menus and doing paperwork would be like really on point for the gameplay. There have been several 5-stars, yep. You're the new Quinn. Let's just go get his desk right now. Do I still have a party popper? I'm just going to go... We're going to go take it by force. I'm calling it an Alachi ground walker here. We're going to fight him for it. Do I have a party popper? What mess of stuff is this? Yes, we do have a party horn. The 8th anniversary one. I think I was too lazy to claim the more recent ones. All right, Quinn, we're here to take over. Get out of your desk. This is... Oh, I rubber banded through the wall. Okay. All right, Quinn. We've had about enough of your BS. It's time to get out of that chair. Take that. I'm the Admiral of Starfleet now, so you're going to have to move. There we go. Come on, I know it does other stuff. Don't just do the ground thing. Give me something else. There we go. Take some balloons. There, take that. Quinn is just an admiral. We already outrank him. Yeah.
What the hell is this?
Klingons at 70 become Federation President. Well, you become Federation President as a Klingon by killing the Federation President. That's how that works. See, I think it does one other thing. It does the balloons. It does this. I feel like it does something else.
What is this?
I haven't used it in a while. There's the balloons. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. Does this the only two things it does? Try it one more time. Yeah, maybe it only does that. I can't remember. Do I have other party poppers? Probably not. Pattern enhancer. I don't think I can use this here. A flashlight. Temporal flux generator. Got the new Terran knife. I got a bunch of coffee. Let me check my... I don't think I have any other party poppers. I think that's the only one. Alright, well the coup failed. Quinn is still in his desk. We didn't manage to take over Starfleet, so that's a bit unfortunate. Alright, let me check the chat here. There's a lot of these, and they always just a few new things, the same item. Sign me up for the job as a Klingon for Earth in the 32nd century. Yeah, sounds pretty good. Who wouldn't want to be the Federation president? That sounds like an awful job, actually, but probably low assassination risk in the future, I would imagine. Although, hasn't he actually had an assassination attempt in the story? What are these things called again? They're not called party poppers, are they? Party horn. Well, party something. Nope, no other party horns. Do I have the sandcastle thing? Yes, I do. Let's make sandcastles.
What?
Just the two of us, you and I. We can make it if we try. And we have a toy rocket. That's pretty good. Got some junk here. Miniature runabout. The walker, not the combat pet, but the regular one. So we got here. The trader com code. Platinum tardigrade companion. Anything good here? Not too good. These are like my devices. Not a great selection here. Some Tribbles, some Q's Winter Wonderland stuff. It's really kind of a pitiful selection when you really think about it. All right, let's do some sandcastles. Oh, is this only usable on Ryza? Oh, is this? Can I not use this? Oh, I can use it. I just use it for my inventory. Let's do it over here. Oh, it's on cooldown now. Can I not equip it? Maybe it's not an equipped item. Somehow I haven't lost any viewers despite doing this nonsense. You know how much power you would have to give up to be Federation president? That feels like a Lex Luthor quote to me. Undiscovered Country 6. I made a video a while back where I switched Quinn out for a Ryzian monkey, but put in his voice lines from the story. A lot of people thought it was funny. That does sound pretty funny. I'm going to check that out. Martin says, oh, now I remember something for all the Trekkies. Tell me the name of a Riemann from shows or movies. I don't remember anyone with name. Well, Riemanns... I mean, how many Riemanns were there outside of the movie? What's the name of the movie? Why can I not think of the movie? The last TNG one. The one with his clone or whatever. I think most of the Riemann stuff came from there, right? Or was there other significant Riemann stuff that I'm not thinking of? Memory, Alpha, Riemann. Nemesis. God, of course, Nemesis. They showed up in Enterprise. Or maybe were referenced in Enterprise. Nemesis, Enterprise. That's just the one episode. I feel like it was just a reference. Lower Decks, apparently, although I haven't watched Lower Decks yet. Yeah, 2 Enterprise episodes and Nemesis. So not too much occurrences of Remans. I just remember those from Nemesis. Shinzon claimed to be a Reman, but obviously wasn't. The Kruk, and no one with a name, just the Viceroy, but is not a name. Looking at it now here. Yeah, it just says the Reman Viceroy. It doesn't have a name for him. Interesting. All right, one more sandcastle. We're gonna double whammy sandcastle party horn. All right, well, I think that's my fun quota for today. If people have more questions, I'll happily answer them. Otherwise, I'm gonna start winding it down here. Been going for almost a couple hours now. I'm gonna give people a couple more minutes if they want to write out a question here. But I will say in advance, thank you all for coming. I hope that I answered any questions that you had. I hope you had fun hanging out with me. Hopefully you'll, if you haven't seen my video yet on the new tutorial, definitely check it out. I think it is one of my best. I think it's pretty funny, so I think it's worth watching. Hopefully you'll stick around for more of my videos in the future. Definitely thank you to the 2 new channel members who joined tonight. Really appreciate that. His name is Viceroy. Oh, that's why you said Vikruk earlier. That was his name. Okay, I got you, Gowdy, man. All right. The time flew by. It did. It definitely did fly by. I didn't realize it had gotten so late. So these streams are always fun, always a great way to spend an evening, assuming you have literally nothing else to do. Sent you a GIF on Discord about the tables on Word rather than Excel. I'm going to have to take a look at that. All right, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Once again, thank you all for joining me. Hopefully you guys will have a great weekend. I'll see you all in a future stream. I'll see you in the future videos. Take care of yourselves as always, and bye for now.